I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co, and these are the games leaving the collection for the month of July 2026. Well, actually, technically, the new title of this video series, which I forgot, is These are the games being added to and leaving the collection for July of 2026. We're going to be going over a bunch of games today. We're going to be going over the games that are kind of being added to the collection but don't really count. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about the games that are being added to the collection, the games that will be leaving my collection, and then, of course, the games passing through. Games that I've played but I'm choosing not to keep, but they never really entered the collection. They're just, you know, making their way onwards to, like, better homes or lives or whatever kinds of things that happens to games. With that said, we're going to dive into the video in a second. Before we do, this channel is sponsored by Allplay. If you go to allplay.com, you can find a variety of things from the game table you see in front of you, from the game mat that happens to be on the game table, from the shelves behind you, and in fact, possibly some of the games that will be in this video as well, you can find over at Allplay. With that said, let's go ahead, allplay.com for the record. With that, let's go ahead and dive into this, starting off with the games that are kind of being added, but not really. The way I do this collection series, or at least the way I've been doing it in 2026, is I've been keeping a 200 game collection. That is my collection. There's some caveats, there's edge cases, you know, all the zombicides you see over there, they still only count as one. But 7 button shy games count as 7 different button shy games. I don't go by box size, I go by whether you are a unique game or whether you are an expansion or a variant of an existing game, regardless of how big that is. I do have a few exceptions. Legacy games I don't count against the collection size. They'll be gone once I actually play it, so I don't really count. I also don't count kids games. If I'm keeping a game, and with a clarity, if I'm keeping a game because my kids want it, or in theory anyone else, but really my kids, then it counts as their game. If I enjoy the game enough that I would keep it regardless of whether they play it, it counts as my game. Basically, if I'm only keeping it because one of my kids wants it, that's their game. With that said, we actually have 3 of those we're adding. Now, sometimes weeks go by that I don't actually add those at all. We have 3 of those we'll be adding today. We have Sky 5 over here. Delightful game from Druid City Games over here. I actually have a dedicated review coming for this one shortly. I chose to do a dedicated review instead of a 6 small box roundup because I think this is pretty good and I think it's easy to skip past it. I like it a lot. I think it's very solid. It is a contender for things like Flip 7. It is clearly trying to be that type of game, and I think they did a good job at making it feel like you have that push your luck aspect while also feeling uniquely its own. At Sky 5, definitely recommend it, but like Flip 7, as much as I recommend this one, Flip 7 is only a game I actually keep because my kids love it and always want to play it. As much as I enjoy it and I'm happy to play it, I wouldn't keep it for myself. Similarly, we have one that you should expect to see in a review at some point, is Wildblooms. Wildblooms is surprisingly fun. This is, to me, this is kind of easygoing, fun, basic, straightforward. I think the components feel very cheap and the gameplay feels like you're mostly just moving up tracks no matter what you do. I will say that I enjoy it despite all of that. Rating-wise, this is going to be a 3.5 out of 5 for me. I wouldn't keep it for myself while I do respect it and appreciate it, but my kids definitely enjoy this one a lot, and it will be staying as long as they are interested in playing it. And then lastly, we have Catapult Feud, which I came back from Oranges with, and my kids love this game. They are obsessed with flinging little catapults against each other, knocking down the mountains of soldiers that they are creating, and trying to build impenetrable defenses. Ooh, I just had an idea. I wonder if that will work. I have these like magnet tiles. I have this set of buildings that connect with magnets that I wonder if the catapults could knock over or not. I don't know. I'm curious. I'll find out. I'll run some test studies. Anyways, Catapult Feud. This is an older game, although the newer deluxe version with all the extra stuff from the last campaign is coming soon, I believe at Gen Con. But that's this one. These all 3 are entering my kids collection. All of them are enjoyable and fun. I enjoy playing all of them, and I would keep none of them if not for my kids. That is these 3. Which brings us, well, actually one more thing before we dive into the games being added. We have Wild Magic that gets a special shout out. While this is not being added, this was in my to add to the collection stack, and ultimately it's not making the cut because part of adding a game to my collection means removing another game. And so I have this little shelf where I put the games I want to add, and then sometimes games don't make the cut because I'm like, other games, I want to add other games, and I have to get rid of games, and I have to keep the count at 200, and I don't know if I can do that. So Wild Magic is a good game that I recommend, but I don't think I like it enough to replace other similar games, so ultimately, as much as I do enjoy it, it will not be sticking around. It's a pretty solid one. It's from Gamehead Games. I'll have review coverage for you at some point in this one, but yeah, I like it. I do. If you watch the review, you'll see I'm more indecisive there as to where it ends up, because I filmed that before I'm filming this, so it will not be sticking around, only because of the 200 game collection limit. With that said, we are going to talk about the 5 games that are being added today, and you might think that I'm getting rid of 5 games. I'm not, because if you watched last month's video, you'll know that last month I got rid of more games than I added. So I actually had a +2 kind of a reserve for the future, which I am using for this video. we are going to be adding 5 games today. We are adding Sizewise. Sizewise is also from Gamehead. This is so much fun. You could argue it's a kid's game. I'd say about 60% of my plays are with my kids, but honestly, I play this with anyone. It is a charming, fun party game of trying to figure out the size of things. It's like Green Team Wins if Green Team Wins was exclusively about what is the size of a lava lamp. Figure it out. Who's the most common answers? Who are the edge cases? The edge cases lose. That's basically the idea of Sizewise. It is a lot of fun. Really enjoy it. Highly recommend it. This Pet Quartet. There will be a review on the channel for this one at some point. I already filmed it. It has not gone up yet. Pet Quartet is basically Colorado. If Colorado were different, had cuter art, and had slight tweaks to the gameplay that make its own thing. Now, I will say, I almost debated adding this to my collection and saying it doesn't count as +1 because it's basically Colorado. The problem is if I'm going to do that, then in my own database, I have to mark it as an expansion, which means it doesn't show up in the main page. I have to filter for expansions. And I didn't want that. I was like, I mean, Pet Quartet is 90% Colorado. It is. But, like, even though I could justify it, if I'm not willing to mark it as an expansion, like, I have 7 Zombicides. I only have 1 Zombicide that shows up. The rest I have to, like, manually try to find or take off the expansion filter, and that's fine with me. I didn't want to do it with Pet Quartet. I wanted to be intellectually honest with myself, and so this one is going to count as its own game, at least for now. If I'm ever willing to mark it as an expansion and hide one of them, then fine. I mean, heck, Colorado could literally fit in this box. It's not a size thing. This is a size thing. But it is a question of just what do you do. But if you've played Colorado, Pet Quartet's the same idea. You're trying to collect sets of 1 or 4 of a card. More than 1, that's not helpful unless you get to 4. More than 4 is not helpful, period. So you're trying to figure out which columns to take and at what point in the game to take them to ensure you end up with the maximum amount of points possible. Really satisfying, really enjoy it. Honestly, the weakest part is the powers, but the game itself is so well done. Then from there, we have Bunny Kingdom Town. Now, Bunny Kingdom Town, I want to be clear here, this may well go. Like, in a month from now, 2 months from now, this might leave. I'm not sure where this is right now. I'm willing to put it here. I don't think it's sticking around. So very soon, next month, when I'm trying to add that cool new game to my collection and trying to figure out what leaves, Bunny Kingdom Town may be on the chopping block. I'm saying that now because the last thing I want is to be like, I just got Bunny Kingdom Town because you added to your collection. I thought that meant it's really good. It is really good. But also, I might not keep it, and I want you to know that now before you read too much into me keeping it. Bunny Kingdom Town is great, and it captures the feeling of Bunny Kingdom despite me not thinking that it would. But having played it several times, it kind of does. It's a good 2-player drafting game of trying to figure out the balance between the scrolls, or alternatively trying to just build the biggest kingdom with all the stars and the placement and all that. Ultimately, I think I'd just rather play Bunny Kingdom if I want that feeling. Bunny Kingdom Town does have a place in my collection for now while I still figure out whether it hits the table or enough or not. So, it's here for now. I like it. I do recommend it. I think Bunny Kingdom does what this does 1,000,000 times better. So, like, it's being added, but with that caveat disclaimer. 6 Sojourns! You've seen this recently in my best 5 out of 5 games that I have this year, whatever it is. I did a video recently talking about the 5 out of 5s I've given this year. I have given as many 5 out of 5s halfway through this year as I did the entire last year, which either is me going soft in my old age, or alternatively, I just played a bunch of great games. 6 Sojourns is definitely one of the more controversial picks there, because very often if I give a 5 out of 5, you'd expect it to at least be like a 7.8 and 8.2, because like average ratings, you know, if it's an 8.2 means a lot of people gave it a 10 out of 10 on BGG. Versus a 7 point, I don't even know what this is, I think it's like a 7.4 maybe. That means less people loved it quite as much, but I am in the category of people who loved it quite as much. 6 Sojourns is so fast. It is a fast-paced area control game where you draft 9 cards across the course of the game. Not really draft, you buy 9 cards across the course of the game, and those cards lead into so many different decision spaces. I love this. I am happy to play it any single time. I want to play it right now. I want to play it now. That's the deal. I want to play 6 Sojourns right now. It's excellent. The decision space is incredibly well done. It plays in an hour, and there's tons of expansions and variants. There's 8 different boards. This is the deluxe version. Keep that in mind. If you go out and buy this, there is a retail version and a deluxe version. I cannot recommend 6 Sojourns enough. I gave it a 5 out of 5. It's my highest score. Expect a dedicated review at some point. That has not gone up yet, but it will go up soon. Sometimes I film things out of order, which means it depends on the kinds of videos you watch on the channel. If you watch my reviews, you might know things in one order. If you watch my games leaving the collection, my list videos, you might know things in another order. If you watch both, you'll know everything. And if you watch none, well, then you probably didn't see this little bit over here. Anyways, 6 Sojourns is absolutely fantastic. I also have Avalon, the Riven Veil, which I need to play. I need to play this. Like, I've gotten it. I haven't played it yet. I played the original prototype. I haven't played it since I've gotten this one. I will have an unboxing for you soon. It's gotten pushed off a few times, but it should go up soon. So if you want a full unboxing with all the deluxe components, amazing, that'll happen. But this is a phenomenal game, or at least the prototype was. I am very much looking forward to playing it. I almost got it played like a week ago, but it did not happen. Something else got picked over it. It happens. This stuff happens. It's like, listen, I have a lot of games. I play a lot of games, but there's never enough time to play everything as much as I would like to. But Avalon should get tabled at some point soon. I hope to have a re-review for you at some point. But whenever I do a prototype review, the re-review has to like really have new content. Like I have to have played through the expansion, more aspects. I have to like really dive into it. Same thing, Lands of Evershade. Someone asked me where my Lands of Evershade review is, and the answer is not here yet. Did I put Lands of Evershade in my collection? Is it in my database? I don't know. I have to go check. I have to go check if I maybe missed Lands of Evershade. That can happen. Sometimes I accidentally forget to log something in my database. I'm going to go check. If I do, maybe Abundant Kingdom Town is out and Lands of Evershade is in, but that will happen next month. Either way, Lands of Evershade review will happen at some point, but I need to finish more of it because I already reviewed the prototype, and that was like already a full chapter. I need to play it more, and then we'll talk after that. Anyways, these are the 5 games being added to my collection, at least for right now, which means because I have a +2 from last month, 3 games need to leave. What are those 3 games? We have R.A.V.E.L. I like R.A.V.E.L. I do, but I've been enjoying playing For Northwood, Enchanted Ivy. I've been enjoying, oh my gosh, Rolling Deep, Eureka. I've been enjoying a lot of solo games recently that when I looked around what I could justify leaving, R.A.V.E.L. doesn't have the shine that I would want from it. And to be clear, I think this is a shine issue. I think sometimes a good game loses to a different good game because the other good game looks better and feels more premium. R.A.V.E.L. doesn't feel like the best game to pull out and play. It's not small enough for them to budget, a little wallet, not travel friendly the same way that one is. It doesn't have the premium shine that For Northwood or Enchanted Ivy does, and so it falls into this weird crack where the gameplay is great. I've played this one a lot. I don't know how many times it's a lot, but I've played this one like at least 10 times, if not more. I think the puzzle is very satisfying, but I'm more likely to pull any one of those other games I mentioned off the shelf just because they feel more fun to do so. And when you're trying to manage a 200 game collection, decisions have to be made. R.A.V.E.L. is going. Cape of Europe, a great game, a phenomenal game, an incredible game. Bunny Kingdom Town is replacing it for right now just because I'm thinking two-player game. Not that I always do that, but I'm just doing that for right now. Anyways, Cape of Europe is great, but I do find that as much as this game is a really well-done game of trying to balance your technology, your spies, the lanes you're going for, I find that ultimately at the end of the day, I pull other games off the shelf when I'm looking for that fun two-player game to fit that, to scratch that itch I'm looking for at the moment. So Cape of Europe, phenomenal game from Keymaster. It is better than the original Caper. It is still not good enough to wear you up against Watergate or Seven Wonders Duel or any of these other, or Lord of the Rings Duel, any of these other games that are excellent two-player games. Speaking of which, we have Ironwood. Ironwood falls into the same problem to a certain extent. Different lane. Like, I don't think of Ironwood versus, Perry de la Cité de Mur, versus I do think of Cape of Europe versus Airland and Sea and all that. I mean, it's just different lane, so to speak. But Ironwood, as much as it is in a different lane, I just don't find that it's hitting the table. Not recently. I'm not being as pulled off. As much as the solo mode is also good, it's not the kind of game that I want or kept for the solo. I kept it for the two-player gameplay. And the two-player gameplay, to be very clear, is excellent. This one I originally had a 4.5 out of 5 as my original rating for this. I have dropped it over time to a 4 as I've played it more, and it's still good. It's still a solid 4. But again, I am keeping a 200 game collection, which means great games have to go. So these are all the games kind of, in my collection part of things. Oh, well, I'll do a bonus pick. The Mind Soulmates is leaving. This was in my collection for a while. It was in my collection for like, I don't know, a year at this point, something like that. I think I got it at Gen Con last year. I think whenever I got it, it's been a while. This one ultimately is leaving, but this was an expansion, so it doesn't really free up a slot, but it still is leaving the collection because, games leave. I'd rather play the Mind. The Mind Soulmates is great, but I'd rather play the Mind. With that said, let's go ahead and push these off to the side a little bit because we're going to need some space to dive into all the other games we are going through today because now we have the games passing through. Most of these are going to be featured in some videos here or there, in 5 game reviews here, a dedicated review game here, 6 small box games there. We will go through these rapid fire because of that, but nonetheless, let's start off. We have Kyoto No Koneko. This is a cute little game. Art style, all that stuff is great. Ultimately, the game is a memory game and a guessing game, which for me is just not one that I'm not one inclined to pull off the shelf. We have fiction banned books. I think fiction is excellent. I think fiction banned books is just a better version of fiction. The problem is, this one is one that I find other people do not pull off and play quite as much, and also we're playing with a lot of great deduction games, what do you want to call it, puzzly games. Like, to me, I'd rather play A Message from the Stars over fiction banned books. Both are excellent, but, you gotta pick. What game do you want to hit the table? And Fiction Band books, I love the little puzzle of the layered in lie as you play a Wordle style game, but most people I play it with don't appreciate that puzzle quite as much. We have Machu Picchu, a cute little game of Machu Picchu. Saying Machu Picchu, slapping down your hand when you have matching accessories on the llamas. There's better games that do this kind of thing, so it's not sticking around. DC Justice League Dark. Had this one for a while, but meaning to table it, finally did. It's basically DC Justice League with a few new elements, some nicer cards, some like new mechanics, but like nothing too crazy. Ultimately, it's still the same game the original DC was. I'd rather play other deck building games. It's fine, nothing wrong with it, just not the game that's going to be pulled off the shelf quite as much. We have another small box wallet game. This is going to be Le Roi de R.A.V.E.L, the Rogue Monarch. I liked this game a lot when I played it a few years ago, but then I played it like 10 times in a row. And playing it 10 times in a row kind of revealed to me that I feel like I've played it out. I feel like I've played all the interactions of the various ways things can happen in this game. I think it had a lot of charm after play number 1, and then after play number 10, or whatever number I got to. I played a lot. You play a game in like 5 minutes, so I just played it again and again and again one afternoon, and I was like, you know what? Honestly, I think I'm tapped out at this point. I would play if someone asked. I don't need to keep it. We have Kinfire Council. Kinfire Council is very solid in some capacities, but honestly, just play Lords of Waterdeep. If you want the game that this is doing, Lords of Waterdeep is a better experience, it's just a better experience, honestly. Like, I have a review that goes into this more at some point coming up, but ultimately, Lords of Waterdeep is a better game than Kinfire Council. Kinfire Council is good. It's good. Catan on the road. Play Catan, and if you want a travel version of a game, get 17,000 other travel games that are better. This is just Catan, but with less agency than Catan already has. Wingspan Pocket. This is charming. I like Wingspan Pocket better than I like Wingspan. I think. I'm not sure. The accessibility is hard to weigh up, but I do like how much you get done in this game in terms of the speed. Like, I feel like I get all the Wingspan charm in like a quarter of the time, a third of the time, I think a third of the time. It's fun. It's charming. It's good. It still is ultimately Wingspan, which for me is like, it's good. I just don't care about the cards. I don't care about the world building. I don't care about the cards. I've said this time and time again. I don't know. Nothing about Finspan, Warspan, or Wingspan has ever made me care about the cards. And in games like this, I want to care about the cards. That's the thing. Everything else works, though. Everything else is great. Fromaggio. This is Fromage, but it's with Fromaggio. Four new kind of quarters to deal with. It's a kind of rondel sort of. Every single turn, you rotate the board, take an action in your lane. It's cheese placement. You're placing down cheese and workers, sort of. But then you get the workers back. But then you're dealing with 4 new quadrants compared to the original Fromage. It does mix and match if you want to try to go ahead and use some from Fromage and some from Fromaggio. I think it's a good game. I enjoy this game. I do not love this game. We have All-In Predictions. I do not love this game. Like, I don't even like this game. All-In Predictions, for me, is basically what happens if you wanted to play the gang, but a million times worse in every other capacity. I assume people will like this. I'm not in that camp. All-In Predictions for me is an absolute miss. It's basically like, hey, build the best poker hand, but then bet on who else built the best poker hand based on like not really fun information deducing. Like, I'm very curious. I want to see the reviews come in for this. I'm curious if I just completely bounced off hard or if it's just not that good a game. Le Patiserrie De Rococo. This is basically Rococo, but not as much fun as Rococo. That's kind of the idea of it. The idea of it is Rococo, but faster. That's the idea. But ultimately, there's one small element that's done better in terms of the recruitment of your various employees. But outside of that, I'd rather play Rococo, even if it is like an extra 20 minutes. Like, it's not super short. This is not like a really accessible Rococo. This is like a Rococo variant. So like, falls in that weird spot. I would say literally just play Rococo if you are leaning towards this game. We have Muster, Raise the Banners. Cute artwork and a delightful little lane battler. There's a million other lane battlers that are better. The artwork is so good though. But play Lost Cities if you want something that has the similar kind of gameplay, or play Airland and Sea if you just want such a ridiculously good game. Muster, Raise the Banners is unfortunately it's not too light. I don't mind light. It's just the decision space is so nearly not present that the cute artwork cannot save it. We have Pies from All Play. I thought Pies was okay. It's simultaneously too chaotic. Simultaneously, there's a weird, again, I covered this in a review. It simultaneously felt a little bit like trick-taking Solitaire, while also having interaction that felt annoying and fiddly. So it's a weird combination, because I'm like, hey, you don't actually care about what other people are doing, but also they're going to get in the way at the same time. That kind of is true. When you're playing the trick, you're all doing your own thing to an extent, but then there's like stealing cards and stuff. It's just not fun. Ultimately, it's not bad. It's just I think there's a million better trick-taking games out there. We have Friendly Fishing. This is another game from Gamehead. I'm covering all the new Gamehead lines. Am I doing all of them in this one video? Am I? Maybe? No, I have one more. There's one more. There's Trick to the Future. We'll cover that in the future. And pun not intended. Friendly fishing. I want to like this one a lot more. I thought it was okay. The idea of the puzzle of trying to navigate your ship around the board, being mindful that you're sharing score with the person to your left, so you want to set them up for your success. Meanwhile, the other player to your right is setting you up for success. It's an interesting puzzle. The board itself was not interesting enough, unfortunately. So the board resulted in less of an interesting puzzle with an interesting mechanic of a game. We have Entropy. Entropy from Board and Dice. This is very solid game. It's a good game. It's a good game. I gave it a 3.5 though, and the reason I gave it a 3.5 and not a 4 is I thought that the rules teach and the components were too much for the level of game that it was. Like, it's a good game, but I think there are better games if you're going to have that much rules and components, and there are games that have less rules and components that are as good as this. Ultimately, Entropy falls in a slightly weird spot where there's nothing wrong with it. I've enjoyed my plays of it. I just think there are better games out there. The Euros market is so crowded at this point that you really have to be really, really good. And Entropy is good. Arguably really good, but it's certainly not really, really good. Then we have Nassau over here. Nassau from Queen Games, the City Games Stefan Feld City Collection. I've had this one for a bit, finally got a table. Actually, technically I demoed it way back when I first got this at whichever convention it was a while ago. But then since then, it's been a while, and then I got it tabled again. And I think Nassau is, again, I mentioned actually, not intended over here. Similar problem to Entropy. The amount you get out of the game relative to the weight, it doesn't weigh up. It's not a bad game. It's a pretty good game, I'd say. I enjoyed myself. The issue is that it's very pointsality, which I love. I love all the ways to get points. There's two phases of the game, which I like, but the sheer amount of components and mental thinkiness versus how light the game is, I think if I'm going to think that hard, I'd rather play Bruges or Druids of Adora or Castle of Burgundy. Then we have over here Carnuta. Carnuta is a rune flipping game of, well, flipping runes to gather cards. It's not bad. Nothing's wrong with this game. It just doesn't shine in any particular way for me. I would play it, but I just don't feel the need to. I don't feel the need to own it. It's fine. You flip your runes, you add runes, you draw cards, you then get rid of runes or flip your runes to pay for the cards. Then you get the cards that work well with other cards. Again, any game, I can make any game sound completely uninteresting, but ultimately, I think that Carnuta didn't have a hook that appealed to me. The hook was probably the rune management, which is arguably a little interesting, because like flipping runes is better than getting rid of them, but then you have to time it up with getting the other cards, and that will hurt your set collection. This is a small, interesting puzzle. I just didn't find the rune flipping puzzle to be that engaging. We have the First Giants. First Giants over here, this is a fun gathering game of various dinosaurs. You gather various dinosaurs, and then you get the various abilities. There's lots of kinds of abilities going on in play as you go through this. The question is, what are you trying to prioritize as you display your dinosaurs? Are you trying to get the same color, the same type? Are you trying to focus on the abilities that will give you things for getting more dinosaurs of that type, or different dinosaurs of different types? It's a lot of abilities. All of it's totally fine. I've enjoyed myself with this one. There's just so many games that do this, and I think that First Giants was good. Like, it's the kind of game that I want to put on my shelf. I want to say I'm adding it to the collection, but you have to spark joy to get there. And this didn't spark full joy. It flickered. It definitely flickered. It's a good game. It's a pretty solid game, but you need better games. Then we have over here Quagmire. I was looking forward to this one. Ultimately, this one did not work for me as much. I felt that the clever puzzle of what it's doing, this kind of, you're dealing with these frogs in your hand, you're placing them down, you're trying to move them around a grid, but then occasionally you can discard cards, which will give you a pattern that will give you points if other people are in there. There's a lot going on. Ultimately, it's mostly looking at the table, very much trying to make sure no one can hurt you, and looking at like 15 frogs on the table, being like, no, you're going to go there, I'm going to go there. It's a lot of board over-analyzing, not really satisfying so much as homework. That's the game. It felt more like homework, not for me, unfortunately. We have Maracaibo. A great game. That's actually not true. A good game. Maracaibo is a good game. I've played this several times now. I cannot ultimately get behind two things. It's a good game, not a great game. And why would I ever play this over Pirates of Maracaibo? I have played this 3 times now, trying to see if I could figure it out, trying to see if I can get to the point where I'm, you know what, this is where it is. And ultimately, each play has been, I guess my second play is better than my first play, but the third play was as good as the second play. It's a good game. I have no problem with Maracaibo. I would never, ever suggest this over Pirates of Maracaibo. And then we have Rebuilding Seattle, which is great. And once upon a time, this was definitely going to be added to my collection. But then Rebuilding Chicago came out, and Rebuilding Chicago is the one that gets the slot instead. So Rebuilding Chicago is going to be in. Rebuilding Seattle is slightly worse than Rebuilding Chicago. They're both very much similar games, though. It's kind of like having 2 Ticket to Rides, although it's the kind of game that I don't need to have 2 Ticket to Rides. I don't mind having just one. It is an excellent game, though. Excellent. Like, this is the best game I'm getting rid of, in my opinion. Is that true? I think that's true. Well, except for maybe the games that I'm actually getting rid of. But I have to go look at those. No, this is the best game. This is the best game I'm getting rid of. I think it's phenomenal. I just think Rebuilding Chicago is slightly better. These are the games being added to, leaving, and passing through the collection. Until next time, I'm Alex Radical from Board Game Co. I hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, I hope you have a good one.